Thank you very much. And let me thank the gentlelady for yielding and also for your leadership. Once again, thanks to you, we're here talking about the many, many issues which face our country, but also many of the issues which the Congressional Black Caucus is very involved in leading. And oftentimes, the public really isn't aware of these issues and exactly what we're doing. So thank you again, Congresswoman Fudge, for your leadership and for staying the course. As chair of the CBC, I'm very proud to point out that we are privileged to draw upon the wisdom and expertise of many of our colleagues on the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. Congressman Don Payne of New Jersey. Congressman Payne, I must say, is more than a member. Of course, he is the chair of the Africa and Global Health Subcommittee, but he's our resident expert on Africa. And Congressman Payne, I always say, is a member of Congress who not only understands what our foreign policy should be toward the continent of Africa, but he also understands that Africa deserves parity in our overall foreign policy, and oftentimes is in the midst of bringing peaceful solutions to conflicts when others won't go there in many, many dangerous and treacherous situations. He also is the CBC International Affairs Task Force, and I just want to commend Congressman Payne tonight and thank you for your sacrifices and for your leadership. We are also represented on the Foreign Affairs Committee by Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York, Congresswoman Diane Watson of California, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas, and Congressman David Scott of Georgia. So I'd like to briefly talk tonight about Darfur and Sudan. I mentioned Mr. Payne earlier, and let me just say, he was the lone voice in the wilderness for many years saying that we should declare a genocide taking place in Darfur, because that's exactly what took place. He finally brought bipartisan consensus to that, the policy of designating this as genocide, and it took a lot. But the country, our country, has in place, as its foreign policy, that genocide is taking place in Darfur. But it's also important to recognize that we haven't been able to go the next step to really help to end the genocide. The people of Sudan, they have a desire for a just and lasting peace, but it's been crushed repeatedly by one of the most brutal regimes in the world. More than 2 million South Sudanese have died in the 21-year war and have suffered countless atrocities, most committed by the same regime in Khartoum. Darfurian children born at the height of the genocide are now 6 years old, and many of them are still in displaced camps in Darfur or in eastern Chad as refugees. 15 years ago in Rwanda, the international community turned a blind eye with 1 million civilians butchered. Have we really done more in the case of Darfur, in South Sudan, in Abyei, and in Nuba? We declared genocide in 2004, but we haven't acted decisively to stop it. If we had, we could have saved many, many innocent people. And I have visited Darfur on 3 occasions, and I have just seen the conditions in the camps deteriorate over the years. And so now it's very important, given what has just taken place, for the United States to raise its role and elevate our work as it relates to trying to help the world community understand that we've got to do the right thing. We need to support the International Criminal Court in its efforts to hold Sudan President Bashir accountable for his crimes against humanity, and for the President, and we support the President, our President, in appointing a special envoy for Sudan. Congressman Payne and myself wrote to President Obama, and we were delighted that he has appointed an ambassador or a special envoy to be empowered, and we want him to have the resources to focus on Sudan as a whole with special attention to the ongoing genocide in Darfur. We want full implementation of the CPA and to address the humanitarian crisis, because now, as General Bashir has expelled the humanitarian workers, we have even worse crises emerging on the humanitarian front. And so our new special envoy is Major General Gratian. He will be the special envoy, and he is uniquely qualified. Some of us met him in Darfur, and we know that he's very qualified to undertake these critically important efforts. As the President said, and I quote, he said that he knows the region, he has broad experience, and has his complete confidence. Let me also say that we have to work very closely with the special envoy, and again, we want the special envoy to have a team of people with the resources to be able to do this job so he can bring peace to the long-suffering people of the Sudan. Also, in conclusion, let me just highlight the fact that the CBC has led for many, many years in developing our global HIV/AIDS initiatives and the U.S.'s response to that. We were instrumental last year in taking, and can you believe this, Congresswoman Fudge, Nelson Mandela and the ANC was on the terrorist watch list until last December. So we were able to get him off of the terrorist watch list before his 90th birthday. We've established June as Caribbean American Heritage Month, honoring those of Caribbean descent who have contributed immensely to this great country. We're working now on the Shirley Chisholm Caribbean Education Exchange Program and trying to make sure that our country, Haiti, the poorest country in this hemisphere, receives the type of attention and resources it deserves to help stabilize the country. Hurricanes, natural disasters, poverty, health care needs are badly needed in Haiti, and the CBC has been working very hard to try to help stabilize that country. I won't go on and on now, but I just wanted to thank Congresswoman Fudge because the CBC, again, is continuing to be the conscience of the Congress, not only in our domestic policy, but in our foreign policy. And each and every member understands that we have to think globally and act locally, and we try to work strategically on both the home front and the international front. Thank you very much, Congresswoman Fudge.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker.